to the Will Be Expertise. I'm Jeff.
I'm Ron.
And today we are going to be reviewing Daredevil season... Oh, wait, we can't because Ron's a motherfucker that won't watch my TV show. So now I have to wait 2 more months like last year to do my review of Daredevil because I hate you.
I'm getting there slowly.
You make me
I've
so
got
sad.
every other TV show to get caught
You
up
are
on.
watching like 13 seasons of South Park a day, but you will not watch Daredevil. We will be reviewing Daredevil at some point, but it'll probably be 3 months late, like season 1's review was. When did I think we ended up. Okay, it came out last March in the first season.
It was April.
It was April.
It was April.
I think we ended up doing a review like 2 months literally later, so we'll get to it eventually. But yeah, Ron, tomorrow, Batman v Superman, little movie you might have heard of
and already seen.
At least with Suicide Squad, they were relying on people, using cameras and having to take their own photos.
Yeah.
Batman v Superman is just like, you want to watch the whole movie? Here you go.
Dude, I've never seen so many TV spots or so many advertisements to watch this scene, listen to this thing.
Like the Daredevil, the Deadpool guys are like, goddamn guys. Like, yeah. Because, like I was telling you earlier, you cannot go on to IMDb, you cannot go on to Amazon, you cannot go on to Facebook. Facebook has a little, you can change your profile picture thing. Like, any type of advertising you can think of, it is, being paid for by them. It is crazy. Like, they probably have the most intense budget.
The marketing budget has to match the movies.
Yeah, I speculated the movie... $250. I bet you by now, and by the time the movie comes out officially and all the marketing's done, like it'll probably be $200 alone with just the budget, the marketing budget. Yeah, it's intense, but
crazy.
We got a little news related to it to get to real quick, and then we're gonna do some. What I figured we would do was some final predictions because next week we'll actually be able to do our review because I'm watching it tomorrow night. Ron's going over the weekend, so the first news related to it though. The R-rated edition for Batman v Superman that we've talked about before will be on the Blu-ray. Has been reported to be over 3 hours long. Your thoughts?
I think it's a good sign. As much shit as they're wanting to cram into it and how they're wanting it to set up Justice League, considering that's the next movie, they're going to need to take time to do that properly. Marvel took, 5 movies at least to get to Avengers?
I think you're right, yeah.
So they're trying to do it in one. So that worries me. So I know a lot of people think that's a little too long. I take that as a good sign, and honestly, I won't really care because it's going to feel like 10 minutes if I'm watching an R-rated version of 2 of the most famous superheroes of all time just beating their brains out.
In their defense, it is 2 because since they had Man of Steel, they don't have to do any Superman origin.
Yeah.
It's still not as good as Marvel's.
If they do any Batman origin, I think it'll be flashbacks here and there.
Yeah, they lucked out in that they've already done the Superman origin, and Batman's origin can be done in a 10-second background while the title credits are scrolling. I'm glad that it at least appears like they recognized how much they are cramming in, like you were referring to, because they do have a lot to get done before they go right into Justice League. My only worry is this made me think of...
They have to establish Wonder Woman, too.
That's true. This made me think of Age of Ultron, because we had talks, too, at some point about, Joss Whedon having a really, really long director's cut, potentially. That didn't end up being a part of the Blu-ray, but he did have a long cut, and to cut it down to get it to roughly 2.5 hours, it felt very jittery as a film.
It was very rushed, it felt.
Yeah, it wasn't really, really bad plot hole-wise.
It felt like it had an itinerary. It felt like, okay, so we have to have Hulk and Iron Man fight here, and then we go over here and we have to set up this Marvel movie, and then we have a little bit more story elements, then we have another Marvel movie to set up, and then, it just felt like it had an itinerary. It didn't feel like the Avengers was fluid.
I'm hoping the way that they do these Justice League cameos in Batman v Superman work a little bit more organic to the plot.
If the rumors are true, the cameos, you're almost going to be able to miss them.
Yeah. And I hope they feel more like organic cameos than they do an advertisement, which is what a lot of the Age of Ultron stuff felt like. Not Joss Whedon's fault, because he was basically given a chalkboard of 30 things you have to have in this film to make it work. Did a fantastic job for what he had to do.
The studio got in the way of that movie.
He did a fantastic job and the best possible job you could for what he was given, but
I'm just sad we'll never get to see his cut of it. Like, you can see all the stuff that was cut out in the special features, but I wanted that uncut version. But, so. And who knows? I'm really excited for the R-rated version too, just because you said I want to, at the very least, watch them fight each other in R-rated, which is probably going to be where all of it comes from. It's going to be probably a lot of blood during that fight when he's in the mech suit type thing. They cited PG-13 for violence and some sensuality, and then the R-rated Blu-ray was cited R for extreme violence.
So just purely violence, yeah.
So apparently it completely overshadowed the sensuality. But, I think it's going to be a better movie than the theatrical version, just because
more time.
There's more time to it, and it's not going to... I feel like the theatrical version could feel like it's cut up, like we were talking about. And who knows what else cut out? Like, we know Jenna Malone is going to be in the R-rated version, but she's not in the theatrical version. We don't know what else could be in there.
And we don't know who she's playing.
Yeah.
There's a lot we don't know. Anything else you want to talk about with the R-rated news before we jump into just kind of final predictions?
No, I just think it's weird that I'm looking more forward to a Blu-ray release than I am the actual theatrical release of the movie. I don't think that's ever happened to me.
Okay, so we've gotten some early reviews in, and I'm not going to go detailed reading the reviews because I haven't read them myself. I hate when people go on to fucking Rotten Tomatoes and read review, because all that does is make you view a movie or TV show through the lens of another person.
Yes.
It can potentially make you realize problems that you wouldn't have realized on your own. And to me, you are completely invalidating your own opinion when you do that.
Yeah.
So I have not read any reviews for that. What I've heard and what I've gathered is that, shockingly, the critics are tearing it a new asshole while all of the fans, regular audience, are really, really liking it.
Are you serious?
The
critics aren't that surprising. It's the fans I'm reacting to.
The Rotten Tomatoes audience score and the IMDb score are both very, very high. They're mid-8s. People are really, really liking it, not critics-wise. Now, this can go one of two ways, because a lot of the time, I completely disagree with the critics. Like, I actually went back, I was out of curiosity to look at how they were scoring Man of Steel. And if you're familiar with Rotten Tomatoes, I believe it's 75 and up gets a fresh, or maybe 70, I forget. It's in the 7s, though. Man of Steel was rotten with like a 55, and to me, Man of Steel is a lot better movie than a 55, for their rating scale. So I disagree with them on that point, but then again, I agreed with the critics on 10 Cloverfield Lane and Deadpool. Deadpool was like 84%, 10 Cloverfield Lane was like a 90. So they were actually... Yeah. Those are
flukes, though. Usually critics hate everything.
Yeah, it's a good point. So... It's I don't know, it could go one of two ways, I really, really don't know. If I had to put money down, this is what I think my reaction is going to be to this movie. I think I'm going to walk away viewing it basically like Michael Bay movies back when he made good movies, like Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2 and The Rock, stuff like that.
It's a great action flick.
It's a great action flick. Shit makes no goddamn sense, but shit blows up real nice.
Yeah.
And if what takes place during shit blowing up real nice is Batman and Superman fighting, which we have never even seen them together in a movie before, but getting to see them fight in some of those iconic Frank Miller sequences.
Yeah.
If that is a part of what is just, a dumb but fun action movie, I can get behind that. To me, that was worth my $10 for my ticket,
Yeah.
I'm not going into this expecting Batman Begins in the Dark Knight, in other words. My bar is pretty low about what I will be happy with. I just don't want it to be a colossal clusterfuck when it comes to cameos, and I really, really, really would have liked to have gone into it not knowing the third act twist fucking marketing campaign.
Ugh.
I think bottom line, it's dumb but dumb fun, and I think I walk away being really, really excited for the solo movies for Wonder Woman and Batman. And that's kind of my reaction. What do you think if you had to put money down?
If I had to put money down, I don't know. I still feel like it's probably going to be a better Superman movie than Batman movie, but...
See, I completely disagree.
I like what I've seen of the Batman action, but I just still can't get behind Ben Affleck.
I think it's going to end up basically being Batman's movie, because this was originally going to be a Superman sequel.
I know.
And they are
poor
going...
Henry Cavill.
Poor Henry Cavill does a good job, but everyone hates the movie for no reason.
Yeah.
And...
Oh, they hated the movie? We'll bring in Batman.
I think Superman is going to be... Obviously, he has to be an important figure in the movie, but I think it's going to be more... I'm not saying it's going to be a good Batman movie, but I think we will get more Batman than we will Superman, honestly.
Yeah, I think we will too, but I think it'll still be a better Superman movie than Batman movie.
I think Ben Affleck's going to be a good Batman. That's what I'm hanging my hat on.
I don't know. Ben Affleck's not good in a lot.
To be in his defense, you haven't seen any of his best stuff in his catalog, which is since
I gave up on him a long time ago.
I still
last
need to,
good thing he did is probably Mallrats.
I still need you like the Daredevil movie you did.
Yeah, it was cool. I'm not a huge Daredevil fan either side. You are though, and you liked it. So
I still need to sit you down and make you watch The Town, because The Town's a fantastic movie. Ever since he came back and started directing, he actually, I think, got like a better eye for filmmaking in general. Because his movies...
I don't think I've seen any of the stuff he directed. Because to me, that was just 2 bullets to the head instead of 1.
Well, the fucking Oscars feel the same way, because his movie Argo that he starred in and directed won Best Picture, and they didn't even give him a Best Director nomination. So he's good enough to make the best movie, but we're not going to give him even a nomination. Like, a bunch of hassle. They took so much shit for that. But yeah, I think he's going to be good. I think what he has going for him is Zack Snyder actually knowing how to direct action. He actually has a voice modulator. That goes a long way.
Yeah,
that's a good sign.
But that's not necessarily him either. I am happy we're not hearing his Batman voice though. Did you see that he had to come out and publicly deny rumors that when he rewrote part of that script, he did it wearing a Batman costume?
No,
that was on Nerdist. Is it the Nerdist or IGN?
I thought he had his Argo bro writing it. Was he actually assisting with the writing?
I don't know. I didn't read the full article just out of fear of more spoilers in the last 5 minutes they haven't spoiled of that movie.
It's brutal.
But because I didn't even know that they rewrote part of it. But yeah, he said that he had to come out and publicly deny that when they rewrote part of the Batman vs. Superman script that he was wearing a Batman costume while doing it.
The 2 things I am most worried about are Lex Luthor and Doomsday.
Lex Luthor's going to be terrible.
Lex Luthor does not look good at all, and
No.
Doomsday seems incredibly rushed. Now, I actually do, in their defense, I wish I hadn't already known, but I do kind of like the idea of making him like Zod's corpse.
Yeah.
Because if you've ever heard the actual story behind Doomsday, it's kind of fucking stupid. Like, it was during the early 90s when comic writing was at like an all-time low. Because
I feel like we watched a YouTube video on this, but I don't.
We did
100% remember.
We did. It was just the Doomsday part wasn't like a big segment of it. But comics during the early 90s were all about the art.
Yeah.
And no one gave a shit about the writing. So it was like the all-time worst garbage you can imagine came out of comics during the 90s. Doomsday's origin came out when they killed Superman in the early 90s. So yeah, it's pretty fucking dumb. Like, I actually like the Zod idea better, but we don't know how well they do it in the movie.
Yeah.
Because we only see 97% of the movie, not that full extra 3%.
We know that Doomsday is Michael Shannon, too, because of remember all the shit when he's talking about how he was wearing flippers on his hands and trying to go to the bathroom? And then the internet immediately was like, if he has flippers on his hands, he's Doomsday! And turns out they were actually right.
Yep. Yep. Fuck their marketing team.
Seriously.
I feel really bad for Zack Snyder because
I know. Again, back to my parents when I told that story that happened, and like Zack Snyder and them, like they had to have been pissed or whatever. My dad, at the exact same time, my dad was like, "Yeah, I bet they were," and my mom was like, "Why?" And she's like, "I mean, they made a movie." And it's probably a good movie. What are they upset about? And I'm like, the third act twist in the trailer? She's like, and? Like, she just did not see the big deal about it at all.
It's almost as bad as fucking... What was the name of that movie? Oh God, where the ending of the movie is on the poster and in the trailer.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm blanking on the name of it, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, not that bad, but fucking close.
It's bad.
It's pretty bad.
It's the equivalent of a murder mystery when the trailer shows you the person killing somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just. I don't want to walk out of the theater tomorrow night and be just like fucking depressed that I finally got to see Batman and Superman on screen and it was during a colossal piece of shit. Like,
it may not be a colossal piece of shit, but I still don't have that high of hopes.
Yeah. We will actually be doing probably, especially if the news.
I'll give it this: the marketing team did show me enough that I'm more up on it than I was when they first announced it. Because you remember, I basically tore a complete new one in earlier episodes. But after seeing the action, we're at least going to get good action out of it. And as much as I do hate to say it, that is the most Batman we have ever seen of Batman from the comics and stuff on screen. The poses that he takes,
the grappling hook.
The grappling hook. Is the big
we reported during.
I close my eyes and see that grappling hook scene from the trailer.
When we reported during the Comic-Con stuff, I believe it was San Diego. They showed all of his fucking gadgets. Like Batman has never had gadgets, which is sad.
He has an arsenal of gadgets.
We have seen. We had what 7? Because there was 2 Burton ones, 2 Schumacher ones, and 3 Nolan ones. We have never after 7 Batman movies seen good gadget use.
And in the first Burton one, we had a reference to all of his toys from Jack Nicholson.
Fucking in Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, he doesn't even fucking use batarangs when you think of it. Like. What the if you remember in Dark Knight, I think the only time you see a batarang is when he's in the club and he has them like Wolverine, like between his knuckles.
I'd have to watch it again, but I think you're right.
What the fuck? I don't understand. Well, I will give them the Bat Pod's really fucking cool, but that's a vehicle. That's not a gadget per se. Like I want to see him use gadgets, so I'm excited for that aspect of it. Yeah. I think I'm just really hoping for just dumb fun. Like just don't fail me on that part. So yeah. Anything else you want to add to it?
Nope, I think we've beat this horse enough.
Yeah. Next week, especially if the news is as fucking just bad as it was this week, we will be doing a full in-depth review on it. So yeah. We got a little bit more Batman news.
You're seeing it Thursday, which would be today if you're listening, and I'm seeing it Saturday.
Yeah, so the next episode we will for sure be doing the review. Next up, we got some more Batman news to get to. The Lego Batman movie release a few still images and its poster, which are all incredible. I encourage you to look them up. The poster is very simple, but it's very cool. It's basically the Bat symbol, but in all Legos, and it's all I think the background of it is like yellow.
Yeah,
very simple.
It's all black Legos and yellow background.
Very simple but cool. And the one image we really want to talk about is they show this hilarious one where he's using the Bat microwave. He's walking around in his mansion with his cowl still on, but wearing a robe for no reason. But I cannot wait for that movie. We talk all the time about how much we liked the Batman portrayed in the Lego movie.
Yes.
Like stole the show. He's not even in the movie for that long, but he makes that movie for me.
Yeah.
I was like, I will text you. It's all everything he says is gold. Will Arnett has been Batman for about 15 minutes. He might be my second favorite Batman behind Kevin Conroy.
Pretty much, dude.
He's fucking gold.
I'll second that.
He's gold.
Yeah. Him jumping in the Millennium Falcon and flying away.
It's so awesome, dude. These are my dogs. Listen to them bark. And the Dead Parents song is gold. Like, everything about Batman in that movie is fucking fantastic. But yeah, look up the images. The movie comes out 2017. I could not be more excited.
I just remembered him throwing like 50 batarangs and finally hitting the target. Yes, first try.
I want to watch. I need to buy that movie. I actually fucking love the Lego movie, which is so odd because I don't give a shit about Legos, but I love that movie. It's so good.
I don't know. It fell kind of flat for me in a lot of parts with the Batman stuff.
I really liked that movie. Well, the Batman part obviously stole the show.
Well, I think by the time I saw it, every podcast I'd listened to was, "Oh my god, this movie's amazing! It's amazing! You have to see it! It's amazing!"
At least the Batman stuff held true, though.
Everything on the internet, everyone I know that saw it, every podcast I listened to, everywhere I went, it was, "This is the best movie ever made!" And I watched it, it's like, meh.
I loved it. So, but yeah, I get that. I've had that happen to me before. But at least the Batman stuff was good.
Oh my god, I could not stop laughing at the Batman stuff.
We've got let's see, got one more thing left in movies to get to. We got a couple of Warcraft TV spots to talk about. This is some interesting stuff.
I cannot fucking believe this movie looks as good as it does, dude.
Let's see, coming out June 10th,
Story-wise
right?
and graphics-wise, yes.
Coming out June 10th, YouTube to see the spots. The ones that came out this week were Spot 2 and Spot 3. Second one was like a minute long. The third one was the March Madness spot, which was about 30 seconds. The graphics on all of the non-human characters look incredible because there is so much CGI going on in almost every single scene that it very easily could ended up looking like dog shit just because you know how much like the CGI budget had to be.
Yeah.
Because if it's roughly 2 hours long, let's guess, hour and 45, 2 hours long of that much constant CGI use. And they don't have dog shit actors. They have some really good actors in it too. They have Howard Stark from the MCU stuff, Dominic Cooper. The main lead is from Vikings. There's some good actors in it too. It's I think Clancy Brown is one of the voices of the orcs. Some very, very good actors. I cannot believe too how good this looks and how excited I am for a Warcraft movie because I played World of Warcraft back in the day during like middle school, but I never gave a shit about the storyline. Like, I shouldn't be as excited for it as I am.
The only Warcraft game I've ever played was World of Warcraft.
Me too.
I never played any of the Warcraft games. So, yeah.
The new stuff they showed...
I've read some of the books. The books are good. They're better than the games, but...
The lore is a lot more interesting than what they are able to present in the games, in my opinion.
The lore is not the focus of the game. So.
The focus of the game is go get 5 pigeon pelts, bring it back. Here's 10 XP. That's the storyline. It's fucking gripping. But yeah, in the second TV spot, they show you. Is that the one where they show you the mage?
Yes.
You get a brief glimpse of a mage. You get a glimpse of a dwarf for the first time.
One.
I think the dwarf's in both of them.
Is he? I didn't catch him in the second one. Then.
He was only he's in it for just a brief second. I think the third one is when he actually talks. So.
Yeah, the shaman also was.
Yeah,
in the third one.
And in the third one, you see a glimpse of a shaman. Like they all look fucking cool. Like that could look like dog shit because there's some goofy stuff in World of Warcraft.
It just makes me that much more excited for the eventual Diablo movie.
Dude, Del Toro Diablo, man.
Oh,
so good. Why does fucking Del Toro, it's like they don't want him to make these awesome geek genre movies. Like, just let him make Pacific Rim 2. Let him do Diablo. Like, give him all of these cool geek properties. But yeah, I can't wait for this Warcraft movie. I can't believe I'm saying that. I cannot wait.
This is one of them I laughed at when I heard it announced originally. And then the first trailer came out and I was just like, what?
Really, really hoping between this and Assassin's Creed, I just want one of them to be good to get the ball rolling.
Yes.
I just want one of them.
Then it's all to Tomb Raider.
Next up, we've got another teaser to talk about. We're going to transition over to TV.
Yes.
I don't really think this would be considered a spoiler. I
guess it depends if you've seen Jessica Jones yet or not.
I think anyone who was geeky enough to actually want to listen to us, they're probably into Jessica Jones. Okay, Luke Cage is obviously going to be the next Netflix show to come out of the R-rated Marvel Netflix universe they have going right now. It comes out September. If you stuck around to the very, very end of Daredevil Season 2, it auto-played a quick 20-second teaser, which is now online. You can go and watch it for Luke Cage. It's 20 seconds long. You don't see anything, but it is fucking awesome.
Yes, it is.
I don't even know if I'll give a recap of it. Just go watch it. It's fucking gold.
It's worth it.
It's awesome.
It's worth your time to Google it.
Is it Mike Coulter? I think that's his name.
I think
Luke Cage.
so.
He's an awesome Luke Cage. I really, really like that guy.
To be fair, he's the only thing
he's
of
the
Luke
best
Cage
Luke Cage
I've ever
seen. No, I think he has some he was very, very good casting because that role seems to really, really need subtle charisma, and he has a lot of that going on in that role.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be really, really good. I have a little bit of a worry when it comes to Luke Cage in season 1. And nothing to do with Luke Cage specifically. It is because I actually think both Daredevil Season 2 and Jessica Jones Season 1 would have been much better off being about 10 episodes long.
Oh, yeah?
I think that the next time they reorder a batch of this Netflix Marvel stuff, they need to quit using the Netflix standard model of 13 episodes. For whatever reason, I think they need to cut it down to Game of Thrones 10 episodes. I think it will flow a little bit better.
I'm always for that. So I'm always sad at the end. I want more, but it's always so worth it.
It's much better to tell your story without it being rushed as quickly as you can while still getting your point across to your full intent, I think.
The only thing I can think of that pulled off 13 episodes or more in a season that's just as gripping as, say, Game of Thrones is in 10 would be Breaking Bad. Because those 13 episode seasons, they have at least 2, I think, 13 episode seasons. They feel like 5 episodes.
Okay, the first one was the shortest one. That was only like 6 because it was almost like a beta for their TV show.
Yeah.
I want to say... I want to say 2, 3, and 4 were 13 episodes, and if you remember, they ended up breaking up the last season in like 2 chunks, like Walking Dead does now, where it was, I think it was like an 8-episode chunk and an 8-episode chunk. So yeah, so they had, I think, 3, the full, and like you were saying, like they were
5 episodes.
It felt like a 2-hour movie.
Yeah,
their pacing was so good. But yeah, and why I bring that up with Jessica Jones and Daredevil season 2 is because I don't know anything about Luke Cage's villains or sub-characters. Jessica Jones season 1 had Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and David Tennant's awesome villain going for it, and I still felt it could have been better being shorter.
Yeah.
Daredevil season 2, while I really, really fucking liked it, had Punisher, Daredevil,
spoilers,
Elektra,
goddammit,
and the Hand all going for it, and I still felt that would have been better being 10 episodes. So with Luke Cage, like, they have to pull out some stops. Like, they're going to be digging deep into comic storylines, I think, because like we don't even know who the bad guy is, like even a little bit.
We don't know anything about the show
other than he's in it, and Jessica Jones is probably going to be in it for what, like 5 or 6 episodes, something like that, like he was for her. Still really excited for it. The showrunner is from was apparently one of the showrunners or executive producers at the minimum of Almost Human, which was the Carl Urban show I really, really liked. So already he has a better pedigree than Twilight Chick for Jessica Jones, in my opinion. So yeah, it comes out, it's like September 30th or something like that.
It's in September is all I remember.
Yeah, so obviously I will be binge watching the fuck out of this in 3 days like I have everything else that they've done. But yeah. Speaking of the Netflix Marvel stuff, this is a little thing that needs to happen, and that is Jeremy Renner has come out and publicly stated he wants his own Hawkeye miniseries, which the only stumbling block for this to happen would be the actor. So if the actor is on board, it would have already been a done deal once I heard it if I was one of the higher-ups at Marvel.
Seriously, that has the potential to be pretty awesome. I know a lot of people rip on fucking Hawkeye,
and they're wrong because he's the best part of Age of Ultron.
He's the only part, really. So yeah, I'd be all over that.
I love Jeremy Renner.
Yeah,
I really like his Hawkeye.
It gets me more Hawkeye, gets me more Jeremy Renner.
He didn't get to be a part of Phase 2 even a little bit, honestly. Like I don't think he was in any of them until Age of Ultron, right?
Yeah, Age of Ultron was basically
like what the fuck, guys?
A little bit of Hawkeye.
He got the shaft that was another unintended pun. He got the shaft in Avengers 1 because he was fucking mind controlled 3/4 the movie.
Yeah.
Like, give the guy his Netflix, like 6 episodes. That's all I'm asking for. Give me 6 episodes. We could know what happened to Budapest, Ron. That'd be fucking cool. There was no way probably they could afford to get ScarJo into a Netflix show, but if Renner's wanted to do it, make it happen.
Yeah.
6 episodes, 8 episodes, 4. I don't give a shit. I just wanted it to happen. Like, it'd be really cool.
I'd be all over it.
Be all over it. And it would be expensive. Shit, Daredevil and Jessica Jones have more special effects needed than Hawkeye would. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to have aliens coming out of a black hole into New York.
Yeah. Make it happen. Make it happen.
Please.
We got one more thing next up in the TV news to get to. The Walking Dead has become known to, I think it's the last couple of seasons have 90-minute season finales.
I want to say the last 2 have.
Something like that.
I know last year did for sure, but I want to say the last 2.
They were getting another 90-minute season finale. Super excited for it. It has been crushing it since it came back from break.
They've been doing more and more 90-minute episodes because they had the Morgan episode. It was 90 minutes.
Which I like that episode, but I don't really understand why. Like,
I think they just did it to fuck with people.
Just to piss people off.
Yeah.
Was the premiere of this season 90 minutes? I don't think it was.
I don't think it was.
I think it was because they had that really, really awesome like first 3 episode arc that basically played like a zombie movie.
Yeah.
And then I think that wrapped that up, and then they had the 90-minute for no reason episode you were talking about. So yeah. Without going into spoilers, I cannot wait to see how they end the season because I'm like 98% sure what it's going to be, and I'm curious how they play on my expectations being a comic reader.
Has my guy showed up? Just tell me that much. Has my guy showed up yet?
Has your guy?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to go about spoiling stuff, so I'll leave it at that.
I just wanted a yes or a no.
So they played on my expectations on the most recent episode, so I don't know if they're going to play my expectations again or just do it, but I cannot wait because, like, dude, shit's about to go down in The Walking Dead. Like, it gets in the comic about right now fucking intense. It's going to be crazy. When's the last one you watched? Was it the first one back or the second? You watched the second one back because you saw Jesus. So you've seen 2 back, so you're like 3 behind, I think.
I know I'm 3 behind. I just can't remember what the last thing was I saw.
So, yeah, you need to get caught up, and we will be doing another wrap-up after that ends, because last year we did the full, I think, 45-minute to an hour wrap-up of the whole season, pretty much. It's a lot of fun. Walking Dead's a good one, too.
Walking Dead and Game of Thrones are really good for that.
They're really, really good, too, because each season tends to work well to talk about as a whole, at least better than a lot of other shows.
I'll tell you this much, I remember a lot more about this season than I do other TV shows right now. Because you know how my memory is like a goldfish. So if I still remember a lot of the shit that's happened, then it's been good.
It's been very, very good. You need to get caught up. Next up, we got a little bit of gaming news before we head on out. Let's just call this Nintendo Apocalypse 2016 because it has been a fucking fiasco in every sense of the word. I think you've been more plugged into this than I have. Why don't you give the folks a little rundown of what's been going on with Nintendo? Or would you like to plug your little
Nintendo?
Yeah.
I'm just going to start calling them Nintendo. Basically, a while back, they released the Wii U, but they didn't release any decent games for it, hardly. And then they finally started releasing decent games for it, and expected games. Like, we just recently got Star Fox, some of the Mario games that have been waiting on.
Well,
there's still no Zelda game.
I think Star Fox isn't until later this year, though. Like, you still haven't gotten that in your hands officially yet.
Right. But they're still finally getting it, at least.
Yeah.
This console's been out, 3-4 years?
Came out, I looked it up earlier because I was curious. It came out in 2012. 4 years to get a Star Fox game, and Zelda was pushed back to next year, I believe. 5 to get a Zelda game.
It was supposed to be last year. It's been pushed back twice.
Like, they had Hyrule Warriors, but that doesn't count. It's not a Zelda. It's another game series with the Zelda skin.
That's Dynasty Warriors, basically.
It's Dynasty Warriors with a Zelda skin. That's not a Zelda game.
Yeah.
That is fucking unacceptable.
So, while all this has been going on, they decided...
And no Metroid game. No Metroid game, period. Game.
They announced their next console, the NX. They've not announced any details about it. And they promised that they were going to continue supporting the Wii U. Which, why would they?
And it's disingenuous to say so.
Yeah. And then, I get that supporting the Wii U and producing a Wii U is 2 totally different things. But there was the rumor from a source that has been correct in the past about rumors that they've reported on, that they are going to shut down Wii U production, basically more or less in preparation of their NX production.
I'm gonna butcher the name, but I think it was a Japanese news outlet, and it was like Nikindi or Nikinde. I think that was the name
Something
of it.
Like that.
I'm butchering the pronunciation though.
And they Nintendo has come out and said, no, that's not the case. Was that today, I think? And anyways, either way,
the writing's on the wall.
When you have to come out and say, no, we are not stopping production of our console, I mean, whether you're stopping production or not, that's not good.
Well, okay, let's just break this down of the last couple of generations of the main 3 gaming companies, that being Microsoft's Xbox, Sony's PlayStation 3, and Nintendo. What was the lifespan of the PS3 and the Xbox 360? It ran about 10 years.
I was going to say, they were the longest running console generation of that time.
With the Wii U...
Technically, it's still running.
The Wii U released in 2012. And we're in 2016 now, and they've been talking the NX since last year, correct?
Yes.
Barely made it 3 years before there was talk of another one. If there's talk, it's dead, and you're being disingenuous to your fan base. And I think you're being incredibly shitty to your already, pissed on fan base who have been waiting around and are like, Nintendo fans are so loyal that they're taken advantage of. It's fucked up, and I don't appreciate being a hardcore Nintendo fan, and having to wait 5 fucking years to play Zelda. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. I said, at this point, my prediction is they're going to revamp that Zelda for the next console, and it's never going to release.
Never going to be on Wii U.
Yeah.
Or what would happen is if they
are getting ready for production, we're only about another year out.
And if it even did get released, what would happen is it would be kind of like Shadow of Mordor was if you played the PS3 version versus the PS4 version. Like, the most awesome part of the game wasn't even accessible and usable in the PS3 because the hardware couldn't run it.
Right.
So even if the Zelda game is on Wii U, there's a very good chance it's a dog shit version compared to the NX version.
They did that with Twilight Princess, I believe. It was on GameCube.
So the GameCube ran like shit and the Wii ran better?
Yeah, and there was parts of the game that did not operate at all on a GameCube.
So they have a precedent.
Yep.
Before doing it,
I want to say it was Twilight Princess. I'm about 90% sure.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because that was the first Wii launch.
Because we were just talking about it earlier today, and I did a little research on it, and it was on GameCube and Wii. So I bet you're right. Yeah, it's just to me absolutely unacceptable. First of all, the time frame they released the Wii U was pointless anyway if you didn't have an awesome library from the get-go.
Yeah.
Because
Splatoon, as far as I know, is the only game they've had so far that everybody says is worth a damn.
So the Wii U was released the year before the PS.
Splatoon was like last year.
Yeah, it was. The Wii U was released the year right before the Xbox One and PS4 were about to be coming down the pipeline, I think, or like a year and a half or two, like in pretty close proximity. What was even the point?
Yeah.
If you were not going to have a library that would push your console. Did you know? I actually saw the numbers earlier. The Wii U has been out roughly at least twice as long as the PS4. PS4 has shipped and moved and sold 3 times as many consoles as the Wii U.
It feels like that they are literally just trying to ride on virtual console sales. Like, they keep releasing all these old games in virtual console, and there's hardly any new games that are even worth it coming out. If you're going to do everything in-house, you got to make awesome games. They just need to go back to the way they used to with the simultaneous release games on all 3 consoles.
And what's crazy is that, like, Nintendo's biggest thing they have going for them as far as the IP is they have about 5 or 6 IP that no matter what will sell. And that is your Mario, your Zelda, Metroid, Star Fox, Kirby. All of those automatic game
Kirby
busters.
hasn't hardly gotten any love in recent years.
Like, and in just the fact that, like, they have a Metroid game coming out for 3DS that doesn't even barely look like Metroid, and there's, as far as I can tell, just they don't even give a shit about being like if your console was
Smash Brothers last year? Or was that the year before?
Maybe the year before, I'm not sure, but it was the last 2 years.
Why did it take that long for Smash Brothers to come out on Wii U?
It's basically, I mean, it's more intense on the hardware, but it is, for the most part, an HD upres of the same game.
You know, it used to be that if you bought a Nintendo console, day one, there was a Zelda game ready to go.
Or a Mario game.
Or both.
Because
I remember Ocarina of Time was available day one on Nintendo 64. I bought them the same day.
The Super Nintendo launched with Super Mario Brothers, didn't it?
Yeah, no, Super Mario World. It launched with Super Mario World, and it wasn't very long after that A Link to the Past was available. So, yeah,
What do you think? Do you think this is the most mishandled gaming console ever?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take away handhelds from the conversation, because the PSP and the Vita are probably pretty fucking up there. But home console, I can't think of another one that just has been as much of a disappointment. Not even just sales wise, but like I have never heard anyone say anything good about that console.
I cannot think of the name of it, but there was one that may be worse.
Dreamcast?
Dreamcast actually had some really cool game. Philips Magnavox, I want to say, had one back in the maybe Super Nintendo days or Nintendo 64 days. You probably never even heard of. But
Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell.
I can't imagine one of the big three gaming manufacturers doing anything like this with one of their consoles, though. I'm gonna see if I can Google this.
Yeah, because the thing with the PS4 and Xbox One, they launched their first year. They had a limited library, but within 2 and 3 years, basically all their heavy hitters were rocking and rolling.
1991. So would that have been SNES?
Yeah.
Yeah. Philips Sony Magnavox, the Philips CDI compact disc.
Never heard of that in my life. Didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah, it looks like a Sega Genesis controller built in the style of a Super Nintendo controller that plugs into a VCR.
Basically.
But yeah, so it was retail availability was 92 and was discontinued in 98.
Damn, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm fairly plugged into gaming, and for me to have never even heard of it, that's pretty brutal. But from the big three...
because, this was their entrance.
For
Compact Disc Interactive, Philips CDI.
Maybe...
It looks like a ColecoVision with a Sega Genesis controller.
I think what might have fucked them is the sales on the Wii. The Wii sold so many fucking units, they probably thought their shit didn't stink and they could do whatever the hell they wanted.
No, I'll tell you what fucked them. What fucked them is the same thing they did with the 3DS, and it's their naming scheme. So there was the Wii, and then the Wii U. Just like there was the DS and the 3DS. Wii U, I don't know where the fuck they got that name from. I don't even know where they got Wii from.
Or the 3DS. The new 3DS, the brand new one with the extra talk. The new 3DS.
Apple did the same thing with the new iPad.
Jesus.
It was the new iPad.
That's fucking terrible.
I don't understand. And Apple is like one of the best marketing companies.
Yes. Probably the best.
Yeah. So, the DS and the 3DS, dual screen and then 3D dual screen, basically, were completely different consoles. Handhelds. Completely different handhelds. No one bought the 3DS because no one knew that. They heard 3DS and thought it was just a 3D version of the DS. Then the Wii U comes out after the Wii, and the Wii U did not sell at first. I mean...
It's still not really.
It's still not really
as a whole,
at all.
it never sold, period.
By the time people found out it was a different console, I still don't think anyone cared. But you gotta do something different with the name. At least stick a number on it like PlayStation. Do something.
And now what's probably going to happen too with the NX is the NX is actually a decent name. It's going to have something worse.
Yeah.
Instead of their prototype name. The Sony did the same thing.
The new Wii.
Morpheus is such a cooler name than fucking PSVR.
Yeah.
Like, they do this shit all the time in gaming. It's a huge problem.
Yeah, Nintendo Revolution became the Wii.
Oh, another thing, earlier I told you I was looking up some of the sales figures on the consoles.
Yeah.
The Wii sold, I want to say it was in the ballpark of 107 million units. The Wii U sold, as I said earlier, 12 million. They lost roughly 85% of their sales from that generation. That is just mind-boggling.
Out of all the people you know, do you know anyone besides Phil that has a Wii U?
No.
I don't either. Phil is the only
Phil
one.
For him to have one, he is the most diehard Nintendo dude.
And he'll be the first one to tell you there's really no support for that console, too, if you talk to him
It was
about
also...
but he still likes it because he's a Nintendo fan.
It's still not cheap enough.
Nintendo.
I think it's $250 now to buy it, something like that. And
Fuck
I wouldn't pay that, and they didn't even get to that price point for a long time.
Is it still $100 for the gamepad thing?
Probably. Which is also stupid. Okay,
you're looking at $350.
Before we get out, why don't we talk really quickly predictions on the NX? I think it is going to be 90% 3DS handheld, because I think that's just, and as it should be, because they've colossally fucked up the home console market so bad on their own end. They might as well just buy into the 3DS. I think it's going to be roughly kind of 80% 3DS, 20% Wii U, and the comparison I made earlier to you is I think it's roughly going to work. They're going to market.
It's roughly going to work. Period.
It's roughly going to work like that Sony thing does to where you can port your Vita stuff onto a TV. I think it's going to be so loosely home console based that it's not even really a fucking home console.
I don't think the ratios are going to be like 80-20, but I think it is going to be like one thing Sony tried to do with the Vita was turn the Vita into a controller for your PlayStation or as a to-go thing. And that's kind of where the Wii U almost is. So I think it's still going to continue the Wii brand once it's renamed, because right now NX is just the project name.
Even after the Wii U, you think they'll still continue the Wii brand?
I think it'll continue.
I think it'll have a new brand name. I think they're going to want to swipe the Wii U under the rug as quickly as possible.
I think it will continue the Wii brand, and I think that it's going to, just looking at the patents and stuff that they've filed recently, I think it's going to, if it has any buttons, it's going to be minimal. I think it's going to be mostly touchscreen, whatever it is that comes out.
This is going to be terrible.
Because the patents, have you seen the patents they've come out with, like for the controller?
Very little.
It was an oval-shaped piece of glass.
I did see that, and it looked like dog shit.
Yeah, it was an oval-shaped piece of glass, and it had floating buttons, which is another way of saying touchscreen buttons.
It looked pretty bad.
Yeah.
And the NX is actually a cool name, and it's going to have a different name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
I still think it'll be Wii. It'll be the new Wii.
The Wii suck. Anything else you want to add to Nintendo or Nintendo?
I think I'm done on Nintendo.
That was a pretty fun little 20-minute rant we just had, though. I always like bitching about.
I would really love to get Phil on Skype or something sometime, just so he could be our Nintendo correspondent. Because he is so plugged in to so much more to Nintendo than we are. He would actually be a Nintendo correspondent.
It's just, if it sounds like we're going after Nintendo, and we kind of are, but it's more of a thing where instead of hating on Nintendo, I feel bad for their fans. I feel
worse for their fans. Nintendo has been disappointing me more than anything. I think you're right. To clear the air, I loved Nintendo growing up, and that's one of the reasons why I don't have any of their shit now, and I don't support any of their stuff now, because it's nothing like it was. They don't even have games.
I'm actually the same way, because I was a Nintendo kid. I had the OG gray Game Boy. I had the SNES. I had the N64. I had the Game Boy Pocket. I had the Game Boy Color. I fucking had the Game Boy Advance. Like, all of the Game Boys I had.
Yeah.
And I have a 3DS. You know the last time I touched it? Like a year and a half ago. Actually, probably longer than that, because the last game I remember playing was A Link Between Worlds, which was like 3 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a bigger Sega kid growing up, but
Nintendo was my stuff, and for me to not want to own any of their shit is pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, ever since they went all in-house stuff, it's just been terrible. I can respect the family-oriented stuff. You know, that's pretty much everything they have is just family game night oriented, and then market more towards casual gamers, which is one reason why I brought up the PSP Go. That is one thing that the NX could be also more like, just because of the casual gaming stuff. But yeah, I think that they're going to go the way of the Kanazis and end up doing more. They're branching into the mobile market. I think that's where they're going to end up staying. Maybe not 5 years, but probably within 10.
I think the NX will be the last
console.
The last home console you'll see. We'll always have a Nintendo handheld.
Yes.
Because
their handhelds knock it out of the park.
At the very minimum, in Japan and China, those things are crack. Like, here in America, home consoles dominate. Over there, the ratio is almost like vice versa. Like, everyone's got a handheld, and for every 10 people that have a handheld, there's like 3 that have a home console.
Yeah.
Like, it's flip flopped over there. Like, when those Pokemon games launch, like it's like fucking Last of Us over there. When you're trying to fight for Pokemon Moon.
Over here, though, the 3DS is still a really big deal, and it has better games than the Wii U does available for it.
Earlier I talked about the Metroid game, the Metroid title, which is like a quasi-Metroid game.
Yeah.
But it's still under the market. The title, I mean, is on the 3DS. It is on the Wii U. Like, they've already kind of... Like, just own it. That's all I'm asking. It was a colossal fuck-up. It's been one from the get-go. They totally mishandled it. Own it. Move on.
Yeah.
but
This is
it's
probably what our fans are saying to us now.
yeah. But yeah, we appreciate you guys if you've made it this far through our Nintendo Apocalypse Rant 2016. If you'd like to check us out more, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You get all of our material, all commentaries, podcasts, Let's Plays, everything goes through. There will be extras.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah, we're about to be playing some Tomb Raider. I'm excited. If you would like to follow the social media pages, check out our description, and we have the links for Facebook and Twitter in there. And if you wouldn't mind, if you know someone, like a friend or family member that you think might also like us, go ahead, share us out. We appreciate the plugs. It helps us grow our subscriber base, and, you know, there will be expletives, as I always say, wholesome family entertainment.
Yes.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Ron.
We will see you guys next week.